Hello fellow STO gamers, this is Stormhold, and today I'm going to be doing a build for the Andorian Thozyn Pilot Ship at tier 6. Now, going into the build, the weapons as change over the Valiant. It's got 5 forward pointing weapons. So we've got the Terran Task Force Phaser Dual Heavy Cannon, which I've popped up to Mark 15 Epic, which I've done the modifiers as Crit D3, with the epic modifier being Crit H, Crit D, and then one mod which is saved for the proc. And this does damage dealt that's increased up to the target's hull to 200% damage when the hull's down to 25% hull on the enemy. So that's certainly helping with our DPS numbers. Obviously the reputation tier 5 is the disruptor variant, so you can get the phaser variant at tier 6 reputation. So phaser build with cannons, so this is very nice that I can carry on with my energy type of choice. Now, as with the last build, I'm still running my phased Biomodule heavy cannons with the same modifiers. And I also got in there from my last build the enhanced biomolecular photon torpedo, which I use in high yield at Mark 15 with crit D times 4, and the epic modifiers crit H, crit D. In the aft, I'm running heavy biomolecular phase turret at Mark 15 crit D3, crit H, crit D, epic modifiers, and obviously one save for the proc. And I've now upgraded to the advanced inhibiting phaser heavy turret, also Mark 15, crit D times 4, not yet epic though. Now these two will then give me different set bonuses. So the heavy biomolecular phase turret with the heavy biomolecular torpedo gives me a bonus of 7.5% bonus phase damage, and because I've tier 6 the rep, I get a 2% bonus all damage as well with those weapons. And then on the Gamma tier 6 weapon, the heavy turret, get another 2% bonus because I've tier 6'd it, and with the console that I'm also running gives me 10% phaser bonus damage and also a 10% flight turn rate, which is nice. The experimental weapon, which I do apologise I missed from my last video, I am running the competitive war games reputation experimental Flak shot artillery Mark 15, and I've epicked that with accuracy because I found that before, when I was running the crit H, crit D, I was missing about 75%. I was missing 25% of my shots, so only 75 for making contact. So I upped it up and changed it to accuracy crit D on the epic mod, and now I'm hitting around about 82 to 86% of the time. So that's certainly made a little bit of change. I'm armoring and R-ing if I should change that crit D out to another accuracy mod to try and get it up to 100%. On my devices, running a red matter capacitor, as I stated before. This is generally for my normal runs, when I'm doing just normal or if I'm doing missions. And as you can see, that gives me 25 power levels, but also because I'm running the Exo Comp Duty Officer, as I haven't really got anything better to put in there at the moment, that also will give me a bonus as well. But as you can see, by 5 to all power levels. When I do advanced or elite queues, I switch this out for energy batteries. The Exo Comp though doesn't give me the weapon battery boost of 10% to damage, as I thought so. Energy batteries are actually treated like a red matter capacitor, so only give you power levels of 5 increase across the board, as opposed to that weapon battery one which I thought we were getting before, but I was wrong. Further testing has proven that to be the case. The other device I use is a subspace field modulator for the damage resistance and the defense. Obviously when I'm going against the Voth, I don't click the button because that'll just equal death for me with a minus 400 proton damage resistance rating. Ouch. On engineering consoles and science consoles, I'm running all universals. My engineering consoles, I've got first of all the Assimilated Module Mark 15 for the crit chance of the crit severity and the +5 weapon power, so I can get up to 125 weapon power on my bar down below. Damage control, the damage control and the control expertise are just nice to have. I don't really focus too much on them. My first lobby console is Tachyokinetic Converter. That's also, as you can see, Mark 15, and that's being used for the crit chance and crit severity again, but it has a nice little bonus 39.4% flight turn rate. My second and last lobby console is Binaural Infusion Circuits, Mark 15 as well. And I'm using this for the crit severity.
Mic off. Mic on.
And also using it for the 29.5 Starship hull capacity. Moving on to the consoles I've got in my science slots, I have an Ordnance Accelerator, which is from the Gamma Rep, and I'm utilising this for the 26.3% phaser directed energy weapon damage, but it also has 26.3% projectile weapon damage, which also works nicely for my torpedo. Next universal console in the science console slots is the Quantum Phase Converter, which is from Mission, and that's giving me a 26.3% phaser damage, some extra auxiliary power settings, and more importantly, it automatically removes auxiliary power disabled conditions, which helps with my Ox to Bat build. Last universal console is the Domino, which is from the Bajoran Interceptor ship that was done at the anniversary, I believe. And other than giving phaser damage of 15% and 20%, plus 20 accuracy rating, the activatable is quite nice. It gives you a haste of 25%, 25% bonus all damage, a recharge of 25% to your bridge officer abilities, and 100% recharge speed for your torpedo weapons. And as you can see, running a torpedo, so that's nice. And if you defeat a foe, it gives you an additional 2-second duration to all effects. And as you can see, that stacks up to 10 times. Well, can occur 10 times, so effectively you can get 20 seconds additional if you kill enough foes while it's active. Then going on to the tactical consoles, I'm running 3 crit chance Fleet Spire consoles, so 2% each of those when you get them up to Mark 15 Epic with 39.4% phaser damage. And then I'm running 2 Severity consoles with 9.8% crit severity on both at Mark 15 Epic with the same phaser damage as the other TAC consoles. Moving on to skills. Oh, sorry, I probably should mention, as you can see, I'm running 28.4% on crit chance and 185.1 on crit severity. Normally I go for about 25% crit chance, but as Colony works based off hull percentage, I wanted to go over just in case I take damage and then I get less of a bonus from these. Skills, as you can see, all my specializations are running Intelligence Officer, that's for the accuracy and the defense and the flanking damage, and I'm running Strategy as well, Strategist I should say, for the crit chance and survivability that gives us, and the extra shield cap is nice, but as we all know, the Borg love to strip shields quicker than anybody, even if you've got 800 drain expertise. On the actual space skills side of things, I've got the same as last time. I haven't really changed these. Still I'm in an RN if I should swap it out for these. And then on my traits, I have made a slight modification from my last video, and that is a good day to die. I removed Biotech Patch on this, which, as I said before, this isn't as survivable as my Valiant build because of that change. But I do kill things a lot quicker, as you can see, this removes the restriction of being able to use Go Down fighting for that plus 50% bonus all damage, as well as the plus 20 all damage resistance. And it certainly does help. My other traits that I'm running, if you haven't seen my previous video, there's Ablative Shell. So after receiving total of 10,000 damage pre-resist, you trigger Ablative Shell, so it gives you a 19 150 hit points every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds, some damage resistance of plus 33, and that ties in quite nicely with also Honoured Dead, which after receiving 10,000 cumulative damage, you gain Stack of Honoured Dead, which adds 10 all damage resistance rating, and a health regen of plus 1%. You can stack up to 20 times. Very nice survivability traits together, or on their own. Other space traders are running as Duelist Further, so whenever you or a teammate kills something, you get plus 5% all damage for 10 seconds, and a plus 5 accuracy rating. And as you can see, if you kill things quick, that stacks up to 3 times. I've got the free trait of Fleet Coordinator for plus 2% bonus all damage per teammate, including yourself, so you can get that up to 10%. I'm running Fluidic Cocoon for 20% chance when receiving kinetic damage. Give yourself a bonus of 5% bonus energy damage for 20 seconds. It says stacks up to 3 times. Majority of the time, it only stacks up to twice. I've never seen it go 3 times, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Nice Inspirational Leader, which is obviously 10% chance at acting any bridge officer ability, gives you 10 plus 10 to most of your starship skills for 15 seconds, and stacks up to 3 times. These are our lockbox traits. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I generally get them off the exchange. Some are cheap, some are not so cheap. Nice mission trait is point blank shot. So you see, depending on how close you are to the target, you get upwards from 0 to 10% bonus energy weapon damage. So when you're rubbing with the enemy against their hull, you can expect to get 10% bonus damage, which is quite nice. Self-modulating fire, so shield pen and on critical. This thing critical's like nobody's business, so it does nicely proc on the 50% shield penetration for 10 seconds. Unfortunately, there is only triggers every 45 seconds. It'd be nice if it was all the time. Then again, that would be OP. Then from K13, you've got superior cannon training. This can be quite expensive with regards to fleet marks and dilithium. More on your fleet credits, I should say. And that gives you a plus 7.5% bonus cannon weapon damage. And then the last one is Terran Targeting Systems, which is additional 15% crit severity. The caveat being that incoming critical hits will reduce your speed by 10% for 5 seconds. But this being a pilot ship, I can then just use my speed boost to counteract those. So it's not too bad. Starship traits, I've taken out my all hands on deck on this one and replaced it with the trait that comes from the ship, which is Promise of Ferocity. That gives you weapon damage from tactical and pilot abilities. I'm not using any pilot abilities in this build, but I am still getting it from tactical. So plus 4 bonus weapon damage for the duration of combat using your tactical ones, and it can stack up to 5 times, which is very nice. As with my last build, I'm still using Cold Hearted because that is the go-to with Oxtabat builds. So that adds a slow, drain, and resistance debuff to your weapons. And you can read the other stats in there. And you can pair that up, as Timberwolf had mentioned, with controlled countermeasures. So plus damage against controlled targets, so you get a plus 9.4% bonus energy weapon damage for both energy weapons and projectiles against your controlled targets. Other trait I'm running in there is Emergency Weapon Cycle for more haste, and obviously, as you can see there, 50% weapon power cost as well. So that's nice. Honoured Dead, which we've gone over, which is damage resistance and regen, and some temporary hit points when you hit 20 stacks. And then the last one is Withering Barrage to extend the duration of cannon scatter volley by 4 seconds, so you have pretty much a permanent uptime on your cannon scatter volley, as long as you can click the buttons quick enough. Space Rep, I'm running Precision for the critical chance, and that's rank 2, so over the 4% you get 5%. Advanced Targeting Systems, once again rank 2, so that's 20% over the 16% I think you get at rank 1. Control countermeasures for the increase as well, bonus energy weapon damage on your control targets, as well as your projectile damage. Magnified Firepower, so additional 6.3% bonus weapon damage there. And then you got to add a heal in there somehow. So energy refrequency for healing back outgoing damage. and that gives you 9.4% of outgoing damage as a whole heal to you. Usual active reputations. My stations are running Nyota Hahura for, there we go, let's find her. For Tactician, it's only +5, so it's really just a placeholder piece until I can get a Kintari Bridge Officer in there. Same with the other two. As you can see, I haven't got any Science Bridge Officers, just because I wanted to be able to get my Oxterbat in here, which unfortunately I couldn't do with this one because he's only an Ensign. Would have been nicer if this was the Universal, then I could have a Hazard Emitters in there. Running with emergency powder weapons and emergency powder engines, with a direct energy modulation too for a little bit of extra shield pen with damage. And then the usual abilities on my tacticals, on my superior Romulan operatives, which give me crit chance and crit severity, so running the usuals there. The only difference I've made from my Valiant is I dropped the Delta and put in the Beta. That's that. Now if we go into duty officers, active space. My ground, I'm using Neil Falconer because he has a bonus 5% all damage, which affects both space and ground maps. My other space duty officers, as you can see, I've got an energy weapons officer for crit severity buff on energy weapons. Technicians, which I got from the B-Tran cluster for free, but it does take a while. But hey, if you can save yourself some EC, but if it's not an issue, then you can just get them off the exchange. Got Warp Core Engineer, which was from doing my duty officer assignments in engineering and getting that up to tier 4. And that's upon using emergency power ability, 20% chance to give me a +25 to all my power levels, which is nice. And then my placeholder Exo Comp for power levels, even if it's not a lot, it's something until I can find something more affordable to put in there. Would like to get another one of the energy weapon officers, but they're just too expensive for me at the time. I'll show you the loads of mills I'm playing with right now. None. And without showing you a ISA where I run around and shoot everything, we all have done that plenty of times, and I'm sure we've seen it plenty of times. My DPS figures are 171k, almost 172k, and that's mostly thanks to Doom Destroyer here, who was tanking 46% of all the damage outgoing was going straight to him. So thank you very much, Doom Destroyer, for making it possible for me to get 171k. The other way of me getting those kind of numbers, I was running 20 duty officer assignment buffs, which very nice, along with 3 fleet boosts, 3 buffs from the boosts, and then also the research boost for combat performance, along with, as you probably noticed, I've changed my tray. So I go in, I hit my spacebar, kill the big tactical cube in ISA to begin with, move on to the first transformer on the left. I hit my attack pattern alpha along with my spacebar. Once that's down, make my way over to the second transformer, where I then hit my G key, which then sets these all off along with my spacebar. And if my attack pattern alpha's up, then I'll click that, but generally it's not. Kill the second transformer, move on to the little spheres, then onto the gate, then my attack pattern alpha is normally up. Take that out, take out the cube, job done, and I'm finding that is boosting my DPS by knowing when to hit my certain abilities off. Hope you've all enjoyed the video, and if you liked the video, then please sure to give me a thumbs up, and you're more than welcome to leave comments below. Cheers everyone, till the next time.